Discipline is required for success, but a lot of people don't really know how it works, and there's a pitfall that a lot of people fall into when it comes to trying to build their mindset and be more consistent with their life or their actions. And today I'm going to explain how to basically resolve this pitfall. If you are the kind of person that sets like a goal or an objective, and you know you need to do something to achieve that objective, but you just can't do it consistently and you just seem to always fall short, like maybe you want to pick up meditating and you try meditating and then you give it up, and then maybe you want to do this and you try doing this but you give it up, or the gym and you give it up, or maybe you try and do outreach consistently for your business. Basically, if you struggle to form habits and if you really struggle to make like predictable, consistent action towards growing anything, then you're never going to grow, because predictability and consistency are the recipes for growth and they are the precursors for development. So today, I'm going to walk you through something, and it basically is around the premise of discipline being a universal currency. I'm going to actually hop into Miro on my laptop because this requires some visual cues, and if you guys like the visual cues through Miro, I will make more videos like them, because I used to do them and people found them helpful, but then I just sort of went back to doing camera style videos, so let me know. But let's talk about how to actually become more disciplined. It's an awesome little realization, little strategy, and if you integrate this into your paradigm and your understanding of how you work and how the world works, you will find discipline 10 times easier to gain, maintain, and abide by. So let's hop into my computer. So before we actually talk about this thing, you might be wondering, who am I and why the hell should you listen to me when it comes to discipline and mindset? Well, my name's Charlie, and I basically have built two companies. One's a marketing agency, it's called NorthFlow Consulting. We've scaled it to 7 figures, we've signed over 350 clients. And the other company is called Imperium Agency. We're working with 250 high-ticket coaching clients. So to do stuff like that and to build companies that add value to markets, make a difference and make millions of dollars, you kind of have to do the work, and you have to do it every day without fail. And to do that, you need discipline. So let's talk about this. So I want you to imagine for a second that I'm great at drawing and you're not easily offended by me comparing you to a stick man. So this is you, right? Let's just say that this is you, and let's have a look. So you probably have got a little bit better proportions in this, but this is you, right? And you're here and you're smiling, right? Now here's the thing. You have a brain, right, in your head, at least I hope you do. And this brain cannot really tell the difference between activities in your life. This looks a bit inappropriate down here, so let's just draw this in. Okay. So your brain cannot tell the difference between two activities, right? It's kind of like on a neurological, like biological level, right? The chemistry of your brain cannot tell the difference between it can't really tell the difference between any activity you partake in. And so what we find is that human behavior is very pattern based, and it doesn't really matter how you do one thing, because it's also how you do the other thing. Now it matters in the way that it matters, because if you do one thing and you do another thing, you'll do it in a similar way. But like what you'll find in human beings is a very strong pattern in their behavior. So someone who is ruthlessly consistent with the gym might find it easier to be ruthlessly consistent with other habits such as reading. And what you'll find is in life you have keystone habits that you can develop, because when you develop a keystone habit like fitness or just doing something consistently every day, and you build that sort of approach and pattern into your mind, then when you try and take on something else, it's a lot easier. So discipline is kind of like, it's not really it's not like a tangible thing you can point at and define. Discipline is an approach to life, right? It's a filter or a methodology used by a human to approach reality and activities in reality that are mapped out over a long period of time that require consistency. And so my point here is that neurologically, you either have a disciplined brain or an undisciplined brain. Now, this is not deterministic, right? So you can either be undisciplined, right? Or you can be disciplined, right? This is not deterministic, right? So right now, if you're struggling to do the work, you probably have an undisciplined brain. If you have no problem doing the work, you probably have a disciplined brain. But what you probably find is you sit somewhere between these two, probably more likely towards the undisciplined side. Because if you were undisciplined, you wouldn't have been able to sit through a 5-minute video on discipline. I can tell you that right now. So you're already ahead of the game. But this is not deterministic. You can change this, and you can actually change your approach. So you want to imagine that your brain, right? It's kind of like your brain has a lens, okay? And this is supposed to be like a glass, so you can sort of see where I'm going with this. Your brain has a lens, right? And obviously it looks at different activities. So it could be like, it could be going to the gym. So let's just draw like the most questionable barbell known to my mind. Let's just pretend this is a dumbbell, right? It could be going to the gym, or maybe it's like eating healthy, right? And this denotes an apple, right? Or maybe it's just doing the work and sitting down at a laptop and actually sort of like, doing what you need to do. The way that it looks at these things will determine how you approach these things. And so when you're perceiving things or activities in life, whether it's meditation or, sleep or any of these things, how you approach them will determine how you do them, and how you do them will determine what sort of impact they have on your life. And so discipline is kind of like, it's a universal currency in your brain. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. And you can't really get away with being undisciplined in one area of your life if you want to have discipline everywhere else. So you can go to the gym consistently, you can eat healthy consistently, you can sleep consistently, but if your work is inconsistent, then what's going to start to happen is your gym is going to become less consistent, and then so will your eating, and then so will your sleep. And you'll find that like there's going to be stuff in your life that you could be more consistent with and more disciplined with. And if you want to be consistent with your work and your outreach, for example, you need to make sure that you're not just working on consistency in that area of your life, but consistency and discipline in every area of your life. Because if you want to fix discipline, you don't fix discipline. It's not localized to a specific field of your life. It's generalized to every single field of your life. And so if you're struggling to be consistent with outreach or work or something, then yes, work on that and try to become more consistent with that. But it requires a shift in identity and a change in pace of character. Because it's not like, if you just, it's impossible for you to sit down at your desk and work for like 12 hours a day with ruthless discipline and consistency, and then end that work day and like just think, yeah, it's the evening now, so my discipline doesn't need to be there. It's kind of like a lot of people are like less disciplined on weekends. So like on their Friday evenings and their Saturdays, they'll go out and drink and they'll party and they'll do stuff that they shouldn't do or wouldn't do during the week. But weekdays are the same as weekends. Like it's just days, and your brain neurologically, biologically can't tell the difference between a Saturday and a Thursday, right? So the pattern of behavior will still be there. So I don't care, you can work as hard as you want through the week. But if you get to Saturday and you let everything slip and your discipline goes out the window, then like it's going to be excruciating to get back into the flow of work, and then you're going to break it again and break it again. So discipline is kind of like this lens, and like it needs to be nice and clean. And like if you're lacking discipline in one area of your life, then it's going to be hard to get disciplined everywhere else. When I realized this, I was like, oh my God, like this is actually kind of the secret to the whole mindset thing, because I was trying to be really consistent with my cold outreach and my sales calls and doing them properly and doing the work and stuff. And like, I would try and do this, and then like I'd get home from work and I just go and sit in front of like video games, and like I'd drink, and then I'd eat shit food, and then I'd do all sorts of stuff I shouldn't do. This was ages ago. And then I was like, shit man, like if I want to fix like my outreach problem is a consistency problem, which is a discipline problem. I just need to fix everything. So like you never should try to fix your discipline localized to one specific thing. You should try and embed it and ingrain it into your entire identity, so that when you do perceive activities in life that would develop you and move you forward, you see them through a disciplined lens, because you're so disciplined that the only way you can see anything is through discipline. So for example, let's say that I wanted to start learning a language. I would have no problem doing that consistently, because for me, the issue isn't whether or not I'll do the thing consistently, because I will, because I'm a disciplined person, and I've got my discipline currency is so high that I can cash it out on anything I want to, because I've built it that way, and everything I do in my life is consistent and disciplined. So like my sleep's on, I go to sleep at the same time every night. Dude, if you want to build like a company, like if you can't go to bed on time, how the fuck are you going to build like a multi six-figure company or a six-figure income if you can't even go to sleep on time? Right. So like my diet's perfect, my sleep's perfect, my work days are really focused and calm, my meditation happens every day, and I've got my life routinized and habitualized. And it took me 4 years of like consistency to really ingrain my identity into these activities and build this universal currency of discipline so I can cash it out elsewhere. But for me, the problem isn't whether or not I can do the thing, it's whether or not like I'm doing the right thing. And so I know that picking up a language might sound fun, But like, I'd rather like keep my discipline in reserves for more important tasks that move the needle in my business for my clients, because my main goal is to make acquisition easy for companies. And like, learning French might sound cool, but it's not going to help people do that. Now, this is like, when do you take days off? Because you can't like be round the clock disciplined, because if you take discipline to an extreme, then you will meet burnout, because like, too much discipline actually kind of results in forced relaxation through burnout. So if you take it to an extreme, it will become a paradox and flip, and then you'll be forced to do nothing, which isn't fun. But like, my point here is, it's like, you have to have the discipline to relax. So like, I always used to think like, you're disciplined and then you're relaxed. But I was like, shit, you kind of actually have to be relaxed while disciplined, and then you have to be disciplined while relaxed. Like, you still have to have both of them, but you just have to enter different states and sort of dial it up or dial it down according to how your body feels. And so like, if I wake up one day and my body's really going through it, and I'm feeling tired and like under the weather, or like something's just not right and I just don't feel like great, then I'll still go to the gym, but I might not put myself through like an intense, super painful, super strenuous workout, right? And I've got the ability to be non-binary with my discipline, and I've developed the what would you call it, the sort of character trait of like being able to determine like what state I'm in. I'm not jammed on either side. So like, through my work day, if I find that like halfway through my day, I'm getting really distracted and I can't focus and I keep making mistakes in my work and I'm getting frustrated and emotional about something, then I'll just take some time off. I'll be like, okay, I'll go and watch a film for like half an hour, or like go and read a book, or I'll go and just like lie down and like watch something that I shouldn't usually watch for like an hour. And then I'll get straight back into work and I don't get sucked in by something. So I've done this recently whilst making my mindset modules for my program, where like, to make a course requires so much discipline, it's not even funny. And actually, that's not true. You can make a course without discipline, but the course will be shit. But if you want to make something good, then you have to apply yourself and not stop working. But like, I was making this mindset module, and I got like halfway through my day, and I was just completely fucked, man. Like, my brain was just done. Like, I'd done so much critical thinking and analysis that I couldn't go any further. Like, and I was genuinely at the point where I was sort of just like, my eyes were closing, and I was like, actually felt kind of unwell. And I was like, okay, we'll just take the rest of the day off. You take yourself to a limit biologically that you can't actually function anymore, then you shouldn't, for the sake of discipline, push through that, because you can push through it, but it will come back to bite you, because the body always wins, right? So it's kind of knowing when and how to pull yourself up and push yourself down. And like, my body now doesn't, like, I have control over it, in the sense that like, if it needs, like, your body has certain needs, right? And sometimes it will need to relax, and sometimes it will want to work, and sometimes it will not want to work, but it will convince you it needs to relax when it doesn't. So you need to become more attuned to it and aware of it. But I've learned, like, I can put myself in any state without any problem now. And I can do that because I can perfectly decide and choose when I relax and when I work. And so like, this is a thing that's taken me so long to develop, because I used to just be disciplined, and then I'd face burnout like every month, and it was horrible. And then I'd get back at it, and then like, I'd get angry at myself because I couldn't work through biological limits and thresholds. But you kind of have to do that a few times to realize it's not the right thing to do. But now I'm way more balanced, and it's just great. And so like, discipline, I kind of tangented off there, but I feel like it's all relevant. Like, how you approach one habit or one area of your life will be how you approach every area of your life. So like, let's take another one, like empathy, for example. Like, if you have a business and like, you're not empathetic with your clients, then the chances are you're not going to be empathetic with your friends and family. Likewise, if you try and start a business and you're not empathetic with your friends and family, you're not going to be empathetic with clients. Or let's say that like, when you're selling, you get way too aggressive and your ego gets involved. Well, that's probably not happening because of sales, but it's because it's who you are, and it's because you've built that like neurological pattern into every other thing you do in your life, which is why it's coming up in sales as well. And so if you want to fix your business, you kind of have to fix yourself and your actions, because business failure, the variable is always a human, right? Because the model is never the problem, and the niche is never the problem. It's always the person. Because if you observe, like, dude, you can find any business type and any niche, and you'll find someone making like a shitload of money, and like, then someone else is making nothing. And it's like, well, the only variable that really is different in this situation is the human being, and the human being is really just an amalgamation of all of their habits and patterns and approaches and lenses. And so like one will be disciplined and one won't be, and the person with more discipline will win. It's pretty obvious how that works. So when you've got these activities and these actions in your life, just remember that like if you're slacking in one area, that thing will come and bite you in the ass. So you can have everything on lock, but if you're trying to meditate consistently and you're just not being disciplined with that, then it will bite you. It will come around and bite you, because your brain is a blanket. It's kind of like a blanket. It takes a blanket approach to everything you do. And like it will have all of these lenses, and it will see each activity based on how you perform every other activity. So if you're lazy in everything and you try and start a business, you'll be lazy in your business. And so people think they need to try and work on their consistency of their work, but it's actually like you need to work on it everywhere. And discipline, I'll leave you this in closing. Discipline is like a way of life. It's an identity trait. It's not something that is you can pick up and just apply to work. It's something that has to be everywhere in your life in order for it to actually manifest into your work in the specific localized area of your like existence that you want it to actually bring forth the results. It kind of has to be everywhere. It can't just be somewhere, right? So that's basically it. It won't be like if you want to find discipline somewhere, you have to find it everywhere in yourself. And I learned this, and now it's really helped me grow businesses. And you also have to have the discipline to relax, because if you take it to an extreme, then you'll burn yourself out, and then you'll just like be a bit fucked. So yeah, that's everything. And I hope you enjoyed this short video. It's just kind of to explain some stuff that's been on my mind. If you found it useful, you can subscribe. You can also like the video and add any comments if you have anything to add. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. By the way, if you run an agency or a coaching company and you need more clients and you can't get more clients, then click the first link in the description. There's a funnel. It's designed to book a call. I've got no shame in admitting that I have a program. It's fucking insane and it works incredibly well. If you want to check it out, you can click the first link in the description. If you don't want to, that's okay as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.